played with these by Mr. Gerald here, John Playoff. The United States of America, and the third republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lord, something we gathered here tonight, please be with the council, the mayor, and the chief as they move the town forward. And please be with our veterans and our EMTs and the first responders, the firemen. We have some of the audience tonight. Keep them safe as they take care of us. Amen.
Roll call, everybody clear? Roll comments will be accepted with the agenda with item, we did think of it as 3 minutes. April 2026. Next, approve the minutes of April 6, 2026. Moved by Nancy.
Second.
Second by Time. Question? One time? 2 times? 3 times? We'll vote on it. Jody. Aye. Nancy.
Aye.
Mike. Aye. Here. Aye.
Aye.
Council consider appropriating $50,000 for South Central Planning Foundation procedure.
Hello.
We got here.
Second.
Second by Tom.
What we have going with the
50.
we did some.
No, but this will be.
Wait, it's
I got a little something to see. I got a comment to say this because of the week. Excellent. Item number 2. You know, Hurricane Ida was 5 years ago. 1,707 days. Still, I love this. Awesome there. You know, there was a total of 282 on the list of houses that were damaged. 123 was demolished by the owners. 122 were repaired by the owners. 10 was demolished by the town. We completed 256. We're down to a few of them here. You know. I signed the bill this weekend. Started on it. It's a town. They bill $6,000. That's not counting another hearing. Might be another town. I guess what I'm trying to say is not to finish this. It's been bought. People, you will come. First year, 2021, the town of Old West sent a letter to every house that was damaged. Taxes about different. You know how many we got back? 1. So that's why I made recommendations with your stuff for the plan. Second thing, is 30 days, that's nice. But right now, we got a list on here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. That's been on the list for a while. It's not for this council to make a decision, I'll make a recommendation. If I'm being attorney, you're not finished. No, the town's gonna process the amount of the building. I don't think it's fair to the taxpayer that paid the $7,000 for the month and took care of their business. Some of them didn't have anything. I have a hardship for everybody. I'm good, but at the end of the day, the town got to survive. That's 7,000. You go 7,000 times 12, you know how much that is a year? Just because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. It's not about hurting anybody's feelings. This is a business. We got to protect the town a little better. We still have houses that, you got 1 house in the community, 3 houses south of him. The first person next to him, they fixed their own house. The second house, she came to the process. She fixed the poor lady at the third house. She's been there finishing that. Now you got a storm and that house is still up. She ain't gonna count over metal times on myself. I just think it's time to put an arrest. It's not a very political thing. I'm not worried about a political thing. I'm worried about keeping the town safe. I'm worried about spending the town's money. Some of these people don't even live in town. I think it's time for this council to make a decision. And our recommendation about mid-30, if you're not finished, as much as I hate to say that, but 1,700 days, that's a lot of time. When you go there, you need some reserve. Now, all got big hearts here, all of them. Now, how about the heart, fellas? We got, at the end of the day, we can get them more money. Just like these people going, I mean, we just paying taxpayers money. People that took credit, some people that didn't have that. We got contracts that don't want to even bid no more. Because I gave a bid and y'all rejected. Why should I go give another bid? So it's just getting more messy and messy the longer we deal with it. And if we don't deal with it, it'll never go away. What I'm saying here tonight, not very popular. I'm telling the truth. I think everybody here knows I'm saying the truth. It's this time to finish it. I mean, we have another storm, hurricane season coming. We've been lucky it hasn't happened to storm. I just wish the council would consider that, you know what I'm saying? It's not very popular. Jody, I know you're here today, I understand that, but I think it's time for us to finish. And I'm just calling you out because you started.
Yeah, okay. I'll say something back if you don't.
But, you know, I'm for the poor people. Some people say I'm not for the poor people. I'm a poor man too, myself. I still work. You know, some people say I'm not for the poor people. So I'm gonna help the people as much as I can, but at the same time, they gotta help themselves. And it's time. It's time for the council to make a decision, you know? So, Joey, is that something to say?
Yeah, I do. I'm just getting up to the tax, we gotta look at the taxpayer money also. I'll give you an example, the one we just tore down for 33,000, we never get the money. That's all. You sell it, I know you want, you can take the top of it, you're not gonna pay the tax for that. Or we're gonna get a $5,000, maybe somebody sell it, so you gotta think of that too, that's why I asked questions about. That's what, you know, I'm gotta be a good steward, taxpayers money also.
Right. I understand. I mean, look, we know at the beginning, we're gonna have some situations like that.
And the point about the 30 days is to give something we give them, they did.
Honestly, but right now, the list is short, the 30 days is costing. When you had a big list, things were moving. So, Mike.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say going in what you're saying, and I agree with both you and Jody, but look, Jody, in the long run, that cost us more than 32.5 because every month we still was paying that bill until we got to that point. I was, I'm saying, yeah, that.
I was gonna ask, how long does
But
it
if my heart goes with everybody, but I'm in total agreement with you, Mayor, it's fine, yeah, it's fine, 15.
So, yeah,
How long does this 50 grand buy? Tom, what?
well, 50 grand if you divide it by, you know, 7.
By 7,
That's
yeah.
like counting the house that we're gonna demolish, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's part of it, I'm assuming is the cost of demolition.
That's what's gonna be.
Right.
So we had one pot that everything is going into, so we've put $300,000 with this 50,000 so far into that pot. So all of South Central's costs, all of our demolition costs, our recreation costs, all of that's been eaten from that same pot.
So the biggest cost left is, you know, the things tearing the house down.
That's kind of what I wanted to make clear and just clarify to myself and everyone in the audience, 30 laws as well.
So
I mean-
basically, we
The
just
time has
$250
come.
in,
Being
$250,000.
honest with you.
Right.
And look, going forward, the full council, you said, when you were gonna do, we were gonna spend the money to clean, you know, clean up the town and hope, get people to come in, build, to where you don't have to live, a house that's still down, has been demolished, you know, somebody's gonna go in there and sleep at night or set it on fire, you know what I'm saying? So the council do that, we're gonna spend this kind of money, but it's just time, you know? You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Makes sense.
Huh?
Makes sense.
so,
Cost us money.
right, and,
I do have something. A few meetings ago, I did bring up, why don't we do something like the other parishes that do, we give them so many days, so many months to take care of their property or we tear it down. But if you're looking at giving them 3 months, we into hurricane season.
Yes.
I think, anytime any suggestion I have is, I don't think that, Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we want to, only town to have a pilot program like this, is that correct?
No, that's it.
There's a, I mean, locally, we're talking about.
Not off topic, I guess a little bit, but I do this a lot in a lot of different areas, in South Louisiana. And believe it or not, I always use Golden Meadow as his gold standard on how to handle it. Start from the first day we got into it through, today kind of thing. And so to answer your question, no, y'all are certainly not the only coastal parish or coastal community that deals with this. Y'all are one of the very few that's actually dealt with it substantively. Maybe the only one I know, to be honest.
Cool. I appreciate the time and comments. Tom, you want to, that's it, that's all you got?
What?
Kip,
Go ahead, Dan.
I'm good.
Well, I mean, mayor says in the May, whatever, May 30th, yeah, June 1st is what her. You know, I was, since the mayor brought it up last meeting, I was kicking around. I didn't put it on the agenda, but I was thinking 90 days, but I didn't look at it from the aspect of June 1st hurricane season. I mean, I still feel that's a little short notice. I mean, it is costing the town money, but how would y'all feel from with 90 days from the last time you had that fear? Like the last time you number came up on this list.
Well, first of all, you gotta start. You need
Understand where you.
to start where you first started, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get on here, okay, go away.
Right, I'm getting at like the July timeframe, please. You know what I mean, please, license, give it take, you know what I mean? Because we got the, as far as I know, what's the last one's coming, you know? You got one guy who has 3 properties to take care of, you know? I'm just trying, instead of mean, so to speak, you know?
Well, my recommendation, make it, it's my recommendation for the town, that's fine. Yeah, sure, go for it.
Yeah,
It's over.
you're right.
It's done, it's finished. I mean, they got people to do call and then they like, we know what to do it.
Yeah.
Once again, some extra time, I mean, it's over.
And keep in mind also that that does not contemplate having to go back out to get new bids. Because a lot of these properties were bid out as they were in their original months ago. So some people have been worked, so we won't be able to use those bids.
Yes, that we have, that's what I was gonna ask, does all of them have a bid, except for the ones that we were, because if we have bids, I think we should just go with it.
The only one we don't have is the new ones, I mean, that we gotta get, work with them a little bit, it's still. That's my recommendation, be it there.
That's a good time for the whole thing. I'm with that.
Making a motion on that?
We're ready to have a motion to take on the floor. We're gonna just vote on it.
Said 50,000.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Any question, ask $50,000 for this? Mr. Darrell? I'd just like to go back to the beginning of this. What was the start date for South Central Planning Commission? You know what it was?
So, Lord.
2 years ago. Because I remember right after the storm, came get forms here for FEMA. Everybody would be eligible, that had damage, and didn't have insurance and all this good stuff, commercial, residential. I made 4 or 5 trips to Matthews. When I got over there, I had a stack of papers just for my 2 apartments that I lost. And, I kept after and giving us status, and they weren't giving us any status. And then finally, I got a phone call from the girl that was in charge up there. She said, Mr. Louvier, she says, hate to disappoint you, you're the one that's been on our tail so much trying to find out what's going on. She says, FEMA will not pay to get your 2 apartment buildings demolished. I says, all right, I says, now I know. So I proceeded, I hired a contractor before y'all send anything out. I got them broken down because they were a hazard to all the neighborhood. I got it taken care of. And then that's why I was interested to see when they started. It was probably maybe a year after the storm, you think?
Yes, I'd like to say that. 23.
We get time to figure out how to do it, good going, it wasn't one. So that's why I'm having this option to find and come up, what we come up with. Presented to the council and forward.
I think there was a few that got torn down, like the beginning for the fee. It was
Commercial.
Yeah, there was.
No, I don't know.
Status quo.
Bill, you said Bill.
Yeah, yeah. They did do some resident, yeah, they sure did. All right, we'll go ahead and go to the 50,000, another question, Jody, Nancy,
Aye.
Mike, yes.
Aye.
I recommend going to the council about the security of the site, the repair, the demolition of the, it's on the list, we'll move forward. I think I got that at the agenda or as part of the conversation. As part of the conversation, which you, somebody would need to offer the motion. Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we follow the mayor's recommendation.
The motion made by Mike, second by Connie, any further questions? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times? Hold on, do it.
Dead.
Nancy?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Kim?
Aye.
Connie? Aye, Pat. All right. Thank you. Council, substitute finding, proceedings.
Yes, sir. The first one is BC 1085, the property was given in September 2025. The April 2026 council meeting, the council already had signed that the council attorney sent the owner letter to repair and gave the owner more time to make progress on tearing down and for repairing structure, getting permits, et cetera. There's an update here today. And I see Bill has an update for presentation.
2410A is out today, it's roughly the same condition it has been. We're going to say on the condemnation list and if they're going to repair it, go ahead and get it. Yeah, I applied for a permit over a month ago, month and a week. I called them a week ago, or a week and a half ago, and she called the place in Homer, wherever she got to do with the inspection well. They ain't even looked into it. She said she was gonna call me back, she found out something, call me back. And I just wanted to remind y'all that I didn't have this place since the storm. And those shingles been bad here before the storm. I've been doing the best I can every month, I do something on it. All I need is go ahead, I'm ready to box it in, I got the stuff to do it.
You applied for a permit to re-roof it or to tear it down?
To re-roof it.
I already have that status, because that was not my understanding. My understanding was he just had applied for a demolition permit.
I did that, I got the permit to tear the section that I wanted to tear down, and it was tore down, and it's cleaned up. And, I wanted to re-roof the back section, about 17, 20 foot. I put on the permit 20 foot, it's only 17. And, I never heard back from them. I even called to see, and the lady at the permit office said they didn't even look into it.
Look like you got some material on site, don't you?
Huh?
You got some material on site, don't you?
Inside?
Inside?
One side.
On site.
Oh, yeah, I got the stuff, do it.
I drove by today and I thought I saw some stuff, like, some material on site, for you to do some work.
I'm gonna do the whole roof, so I bought the material, do the whole roof. And then I got into it, I noticed the middle section was too bad for me to do, and I was trying to get off the list, so I just tore down that section. And I ain't gonna put it back up for another year, 2 years, then we'll look into that. What I got now, I just want to box it in, leave it like it is, make it safe.
All right, well, like you heard a while ago, you got to May 30th, to get it done.
Well,
You got to May 30th, to get it done. May 30th.
And we'll make sure that the permits are pushed through this one.
Will I get contacted or do I?
Yes, yes,
You contact the phone down,
yes, sir.
you got his number?
I will get his number.
Give me a phone number. Yeah, my picture. Okay, next time.
Next property is a PC 1082, 183 Jefferson Street. The property was condemned in June of 2025. Demolition is awarded. And owner sent letter that will begin or after December 5th, 2025. At the April 6th meeting, the council voted to give an additional 14 days to make progress towards the improvement of the property. Town attorney sent letters to the owner to appear at tonight's meeting. Our CPO has an update.
183 Jefferson, two blue houses, the one blue house, the full foundation destroyed on another section, so one of the three sections are still there. The green's still there, the blue building is still there. We recommend to stay on the condemnation list until everything is cleaned up. If he decides to rebuild or remodel the old blue building, he's fine.
Anybody here? What we need to do?
Didn't we make a motion to send what else to appear to the, you contact them?
I can take the letter, include it for him to apply for a permit.
I think we just kind of let it come, yes. At 20:30, we can get a motion on that. Move up, Mike. Second by Nancy. Any questions?
If we give it until May 30th, why we didn't have to have a permit, but the permit give them more time than what we're giving them?
I need to get one.
Excuse me?
Who gave them a permit? Don, they got a permit?
I know.
That's the guess.
Right, but it says we, like them to apply for it.
Right.
This is a different, apparently, the other method, this is a different method.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't get served once or something.
And Bryce or John could probably see if I'm thinking way out of line here, but couldn't the council just, while they're putting these on or whenever, just vote to issue them a permit? All the permanent body.
They have to apply.
What else is there?
Yeah, they need to apply for, it, in particular this one, because they need to show what they're gonna do to keep that house intact. Well,
You gotta have a sketch like this, so.
yeah, they've gotta say what they're gonna do with their building.
We're not the inspector, then, you know what I mean? We're not educated in construction and electrical, and we might have an idea of what needs to be done, but we can't sign off on what's right and what's wrong.
Also, deal with, not all permits come from us. If the variance is met,
Oh, yeah, they do.
we don't even see them.
Yes, the only time the council sees it is if the
Yeah.
parents.
Okay, Don. Brett, you got a little bit of that? Okay, Tom?
Sorry, well, you asked me.
Gerald? In a situation like this, where the original bid was $4,500, if some of it has been done at all, is this, adjusted for any reason?
That will have to be rebid.
How about, does that price have to be, has to be, has to go, would have to go rebid again, but you have to have, it's kind of wild. Actually, I don't want to do it. It gets messy. It gets very messy. Not hard, and that's what we have to deal with.
Edward would be another one, I guess, is the burden that needs to, Edward burden, that would need to be rebid. We gave him 30 days last meeting, or he was good with, let them come tear it down, but it'll have to be rebid because he did some work. Same deal, you know?
Is it rebid by whoever sends in the bid, or can just this, construction company that we already awarded the bid to, just say, well, it won't be that much, it'll be less, and proceed from there.
I think you can negotiate with the lower bid, the lower bidder to bring it even lower. I think you can do that.
Without time.
Correct.
I don't think the real, the bid process.
All right. No further questions, Roland? Nancy?
Aye.
Aye. Kim?
Aye.
Right,
The next property is BC 1084, which is 204 Birch Street. This property was condemned in August of 25. Demolition bid awarded, and there was a demolition survey on the owner to begin the demo order after January 16th of 26. In March of this year, the council voted to give the additional 30 days to make more progress and update today. Current vision of the property.
204 Brett, there's progress, the front wall was tore down, one side wall was tore down, we do have power on the side of the street. But we recommend you stay on the condemnation list until everything is cleaned up and.
George was here early. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
George?
I have a comment. You have to wait 30. Yeah, I'll get that. Yeah, we'll do your own anyway.
All right, son.
Just keep making piles. Don't wait for them to come to talk one pile and then another. Just keep making piles.
That property, BC 1074, 307 North Valley Drive. The property was condemned in June of 25, and 25 meeting, council voted to open demolition bid, but held off on accepting it. March 26th meeting, council voted to give the owner additional 30 days to make more progress with the approved property. And an update to the exhibit.
24/7 North Bayou, it's the same situation. We recommend you stay on the condemnation list until everything's cleaned up.
Okay. Bruce sent an email to us today, to let me look at the meeting, between the house on 2307 North Valley Drive, or we do more work inside. The last time I was off, I was getting off in a couple of days, I should be able to finish. Maybe inside plan, within 2 weeks, I will be renting the machine to start tearing it down, the whole house. So I'm asking for 30 days extension, so over the next month, the day I'm off, I'll be finishing the inside, start to tear down the house. Please, really, this message forward to the mayor and the council. Thank you. I think we should write on that, something has so many theory.
2 weeks in it, 2 weeks.
And awarded everything.
Yeah, so they'll put it 30.
We got that.
Yeah.
Motion is gonna, then I'll move the mic. Second. Second by Kip. Any questions? One time, two times, George, Jody.
Aye.
Nancy.
Aye.
Mike. Aye. Bill.
Aye.
Don.
BC 1078, 128 DNR Lane, this property was condemned in June of 25. As to the, and in August of 25, at least to the current occupant. Demolition bids were awarded and notices sent for properties to begin the demolition December 5th of 25. At the last meeting, the council voted that notices of condemnation be forwarded to those owners who, let me rephrase that, those people who have tax titles. And so there's no actions necessary, and it's otherwise scheduled for condemnation against the tax title owners for June 1, 2026. So there's no action necessary in this item.
Right, you got anything from your end? No, I know y'all are meeting tomorrow to discuss this further.
So that may get modified and sit here. It's the title owners notice is set for June 1 for condemnation as against them.
Well, I think we need to send a letter to whoever, yeah, to make 30% everyone else. Need a motion? Move by Mike.
Second.
Second by Phil. Any question? One time, two time, three time? Simon said something? Phil? Connor?
That's what we're
Nancy?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Tommy?
Aye.
BC 1054, 120 B Malcolm Lane. This property was condemned in August of 24. April of 26, council would give down an additional 30 days to make more progress. and approve the property, so the next update is due May 4th. No action is necessary on that agenda item. And for BC 1095,
Hold on a second. Bryce, I know we got a report. Not due May 4th, but I think it'd be in line that we seen him at also notifying them. Terry committee.
Yeah.
So if the council agrees, we have motion.
I'm on that.
Take it by Nancy. Any question? One time, two time, three time, we're going, Jordan, Nancy,
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Bill.
Another quick comment, can't we just vote to do all of them, I guess, if we got, they got the May 30th deadline, can we just vote to send all of them, and then say they got the May 30th?
We have.
Yeah, okay, but the other one's in process. It'll be a good idea at the beginning.
We can just go and send that.
You will,
Yes.
Yeah.
down,
that's all right. BC 1095, 120 Beach Line, BC 1096. Unnumbered parcel on Mountain Lane, 97, 135%, and 98, 117 Alcide Street. All of these properties are currently scheduled for a condemnation hearing on May 4th, 2026, and there's no action necessary on any one of the last four agenda items.
What we doing with those? They take 30 days. They have to be on, still in process.
Once they look at the process, they will give whatever. Look at the.
that's the process and, it's kind of thing, but the company decides it's gonna be, you know. Huh?
The report will be there.
We already talked about you.
All right.
We already talked about your.
Are you gonna vote on them? Or just leave?
Recommendation here, yeah.
Okay, all right, Tom, all right, we got a, Mr. Bobby, walked in, Bobby, we talked about the piece of property a while ago. And here. Okay, you guys go May 30, we finish. And you have to about May 30, the contract will go. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know you understand that. I understand. But, we already voted on it. We have to make sure that the thing for them now. They might not. Get them, do it, that's what I see.
If we have to rebid, what if the one that bid, what he bid, don't wanna go down, we have to put it up for rebid?
It's up to the council, I mean, you pay the original price, and negotiate something lower, or you rebid.
If we rebid, it'll be more than. Yeah, I just.
Okay, move forward. Hey, Val, I think it's all we need to do tonight.
Thank you.
Permits, we don't have any occupational license. We don't have any project status report by town engineer.
The sewer phase 7, again, that project's complete. Tracy, that the capital letters and that be all the.
We have not received our final reimbursement yet.
So we don't need you. We haven't made grant, we've done everything to FEMA, we keep checking with them about every month to make sure that they're looking at it. So we keep them on. Sewer phase 8, the construction is complete, we're waiting on the clearing certificate. That will not happen until the middle of May.
Guess what, while we talking about the FMA grant and stuff like that, I went to look at that property for Mr. Johnny, the drainage issue. And it's good in the front, it's the back to be swept.
Start and then go look at it.
Okay, yeah, because I ain't going to look at it. You want to do
Yeah, it's on his list. I think I'll go and make that thing.
Okay.
We don't give a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Good. Okay, skipping forward, capital outlay, the Armand LC drainage, we're waiting actually on a mine permit from DOT, but it's mostly we're waiting on facility planning to review plans and specs to be sent down. They don't normally, they normally take about a month, and we sent it to them about 3 weeks ago, so hopefully by the end of the month, they'll be ready. We'll have that done and we can start advertising at, next week. But that is their review time. And it's during the session, so they are pretty busy at this point in time, so it might take them a little longer to get that done. The FEMA preliminary flood maps received, they're on the wall, waiting for FEMA next steps, but that is tied up in Washington politics. Sewer phase 9, we've made a funding request, Clean Water Revolving Loan Fund. They have not given us an answer as at that too, so I'm gonna take a note to give them a call.
They did call last week to see if the town intended on increasing in sewer funds coming to the town. I guess as in billing amounts, and I'm not aware of any potential increases at this point.
I don't think y'all are planning on increasing the rates, but
Right.
you'll have people from the last 3 streets that are be contributing to the fund, at least some.
Right, so I did advise
Maybe
them
they'll get you.
that they were not planning on any sewer rate increases.
And they might come back and say, as a condition of the grant, might need to do that, so. We'll see what they say with it. Thank you, Tracy. The capital outlay funding request, the capital outlay bill has passed the House. The only thing that on it was the Armand LC drainage. And Tracy, I don't know if you know, but we still have that $4,000 for the sewer upgrade, so.
But that's nothing, that's no money to us.
So I don't know why they're keeping it on, but it's like $300 or something like
I
that.
spoke to your representative last week about the 4,000, now see which one we wanted to priority. I told him now see.
Yeah, there's like Tracy said, 4,000 is nothing.
I told him to take it back, or I told him they might even add it to the LC project.
Okay, that would be at least something.
Right.
But yeah, but the Alsea project was the 1.1 million that their share is in the House bill that was passed and sent to the Senate.
All right, John, thank you for your report. Any questions, John? All right, turn to the board.
Do y'all want to eliminate these other items under capital outlay that was not approved?
I think we can follow. Okay, all right, so then, go ahead, sir. Yes, sir. So adjudicated properties at the last meeting, I'm sure gave you all the different options we have for selling them. I think there was a question about whether we could use a real estate agent to, or can't, we looked into that. One thing I did want to mention though, was just recently the parish passed an ordinance as to how they're gonna deal with adjudicated properties. One of the things they do is if somebody's interested in purchasing one of the properties, that person has to put a deposit, and that helps the parish to pay whatever costs are required for the public notice. And then the person ultimately buys the property, that deposit goes toward the purchase price. If somebody else does, they get their money back from the person that purchased the property. So that would be something, the town would consider, that would be a way to not have to, front the money, for the advertisement and the income part of the building, in conflict with that, yes, sir. For the past council, simple, sounds good. We'll go to the gym next week. Okay. DC 1027, let's be, Sheremy and some, or Sheremy apartments that have been torn down. No action needs to be taken, there's a notice to be heard on May 4th again, and just, sheriff needs to appear and make any argument on that, why they not report the paper demolition. And item number 3 is possible executive session for the Charlotte litigation. I can tell you that we don't really have an update from the last time you all met. I would recommend that we go into executive session if you want to, we can. But all the things, he basically has 90 days from when he signed the contract, which was, 27th, 24th, 27th of last month. So he's got his permit, he's got the, acquired the bond he needed to get, and signed the contract, so I think the deadline is in June. That's all, that's all public information, so, discuss it in further, we will do executive session, but.
Then Jerry kind of explained it, that stuff.
Okay.
All right, that's all.
Go ahead, Brian. Mayor, it's all I need, we report, Chief, please.
I spoke to you about the 3 Axon body cameras, with the docking station to give to Morris PD. Elected enterprises, we're looking at $300 to $500 per camera. However, I called Axon to get a price from Axon, and, my contact person with Axon recommended that he does not take them from us, because it's gonna cost him more to set up those cameras than to buy his own. So, it's up to y'all if we wanna go through with, say, if we're gonna donate them or not, and then decide, see what he decides to do with, Axon. I haven't contacted Axon, so he's gonna make a decision there, but
But you're gonna have a $1,500,
about,
that's what we're gonna talk about. So we're gonna have document. Also,
If you want us to make a motion to donate, if he changes his mind, he don't want to, I'll make the motion. We don't.
motion is by
I'll second that. I mean, if he wants it, he wants it. If he don't want it.
one time, Jody.
Aye.
Nancy.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Dick.
Aye.
Donnie.
Aye.
Thank you, Chief. Over concerning pilot project, senior citizen, drafted with 50% repair estimate completed 1/13/26, waiting on change of obligation. Project, swimming pool, pump building, bathhouse building, ultimate project, working on plans to submit to the FEMA. Union monument, complete.
That looks great.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, Billy, and the crew.
Everyone else who helped.
Well, if you say something, when it says something, you know,
Yeah.
it's ready with an arm,
Oh, yeah.
they apologize.
Oh, yeah.
And, it really reacted like a military person, you know what I'm saying? They put a lot of pride in it, went right, and they continue polishing it, you know, the letters by hand and everything. So, they did a good job. He's really awesome.
I just wanted to mention, like I shared before, it was a community effort. It was the mayor, the council, you all allowed it to happen. And everybody grabbed hold of the rope and, like I said before, we pulled it. What kind of, to me, we was kind of finishing up some stuff and I seen a elderly lady there, by myself sat on the bench and she had her hands on the name of a man. And then she came up to me, she says, "I'm so happy with this." She said, "That's my dad." So to me, a lot of people appreciated it more than you realize. That was just me and her, nobody else. Share with Joey the crack. About the only two things I hear is, "Oh, it's crack." Oh, it was crack 40 years ago. And the Liberty Bell was crack 200 years ago.
They went through it.
And then it kind of sums up what them guys been through, and we got what we got, we see what we had, got a couple of comments made, I know here, and, in the field, adding more names, I think the town's done a fabulous effort, he occupies the town, the post 259, and, leave it up to 259, I visited their post twice, first, when we first started, and, recent, I guess, 4 months or 3 months ago, whenever it was, to let them know we found more marble, okay, I didn't even know about the stuff, and the only reason I went is because they asked for an update, they told me to keep you know, when I went the first time, they said, I know just keep us involved, and actually, I thought the post meets on, Mondays, on, the third Monday of the month, they meet at the Veterans Center. And actually, they had a financial statement and all, so they doing very well. You know, for a small post, they had 15 guys there, but, you know, they shared all in it. I mean, they not, not a lot of money, but, you know, a $20,000 CD, playing with 5,000, so they're not broke. I mean, they can, I'm sure they can help out or find funds or grants or whatever, but they would, in my opinion, and as the opinion, they would have to have say so as to whose name, you know, goes on there. We just kind of did the legwork and see what you had to say, you know, and I just, you know, we're not.
Yeah, we made a donation to the town.
Yeah.
But, no, backing up, this, pilot project, this is running the same as the condemnation. I mean, this has been on this list for the hurricane.
What's the,
For the swimming pools and uses. Yeah, I mean, what, who the advice something?
FEM shutdown,
FEMA, waiting up.
FEM,
Wait,
Washington,
We get, the town get $1.8 million, that's why it's still on the list.
and then we put up, then you have to put up a FEMA that go along with our budget, look at the town put up. Keep it going.
No, the town has to put up 25%.
Yeah, well, yeah, for that amount, yeah, that's
5%.
This year,
And, you know,
To keep it
the council is looking into putting the splash park with bathroom facilities that are very cool.
okay, that's another question. I wonder what they were planning.
And the craft building, I believe we're planning to demolish and utilize whatever remaining funds.
I
we
already
get from
demolished the
that,
crap pit.
Put towards the pool.
You know, I wasn't sure, I mean, like I
They
said.
don't know what to put down, be a charity too. Respect, you know. So, they're taking fingers hand and, you good, John?
Yeah, I just was curious on why it was taking so long.
That's fine.
I should have known better. It was the government.
Yeah. I think the motion to remove very easy monument from.
Move.
Second by Nancy. Okay, one time, two times, this time we're going, Jody.
Aye.
Nancy.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Bill.
Aye.
Connie. Aye, got it. Councilman Sherry, sanitation report?
Yeah, it's still on the road, we talked about that power, I went pick up a couple of small little sales, they dragged me to the game. I called them today, they told me back. I told me about some editing, some trees,
Yeah.
I sent them the picture, and they responded back, so, I'm gonna try to talk to Danny. Okay, maybe like, what you, to see if they can expedite something.
Okay.
Talk to River Birchway. But they do come, and they come this per hour, they pick up a fire here, fire there, like they don't wanna go down the street, so.
Right.
They haven't sent the guy, they usually come down the street, right, and have me go down, pick up everything. Try to request his friends, but we'll see how they can.
Mr. John?
I had some stuff that stayed there close to a month. And I did what you said, one meeting, I called the town, and within 2-3 days was picked up. So I don't know if y'all got more pulled than.
I was sitting there telling the employees. I don't have that authority.
Well, you don't work on them, but I mean, it's sure, I like quicker when you call the town.
I can give you a file before number two, that might.
All right, next, the Food Spire Water District, water line downheaded. We didn't get no feedback on that. New business, Councilman Demir, the use of ordinance and to extend the golf cart, ordinance time from 9 PM to 10 PM and schedule a public hearing. Up for discussion, Connie?
I spoke to a few of the residents and they asked, we amend the ordinance? And I'm asking that we amend the ordinance to 10 or 10:30, preferably 10:30.
Can I speak now?
Who's it?
Me.
Chief?
Yes, sir. So when we started it, I'm gonna piggyback off of what the mayor said about the money. A whole lot of time and a whole lot of money went into coming up with this ordinance. And since y'all put it into effect, I was told enforce the law. So we started enforcing the law. I just want y'all to know, I have been talked about, I have been cursed out, I have been bashed on Facebook because of all of this, and I'm the one that is falling back on. So when somebody has a complaint, when y'all put the ordinance in place, I even have the law open right here because we were told you can make the law more strict, you could not make it less strict. The law says that they cannot ride, they can ride a half hour before sunset and a half hour after sunrise. Y'all already pushed it to 9 o'clock. Sunset by 9 o'clock, it's dark. So y'all have already exceeded what the law says. Now y'all are trying to push it to 10:30. First of all, when I talk about the time and the money, y'all said the law. Y'all said the ordinance was signed, it was put in place. It was supposed to be in place for a year before y'all amended anything. And it has been amended at every meeting again. It's been on the book, on the agenda for how long now? The first time y'all get a complaint, y'all want to amend it. It's coming out from me, and it's not. I'll be making myself sick over this because I leave from the meetings listening to y'all, come up with y'all amendments and how y'all want to do things. Because this one said this, and it's frustrating.
I want to make a comment. Nobody gonna like the comment that I'm gonna make, but that's why I voted no for this ordinance, because I knew you give people this much, they want this much, you give them that much, they want that much. It's never ending.
I agree.
That's why I voted no.
I agree with you.
That's why I was the only councilman that voted no for this. You know?
And I'm saying, going back what you saying, just to tell y'all, so it was saying nobody can cross
To
the
me,
street.
if we're gonna keep extending it down, why have a time limit? Everybody like 24 hours in there.
Then why have an ordinance? Why do we have an ordinance? We just liked where we were. Can I finish what I was gonna say? So Mike, you said what you said. So we said it couldn't cross the road. Then y'all told them, this one said you want to cross the road, so we're gonna allow the fishermen to cross the road. I did a golf cart inspection the other day, an elderly couple. First thing he said when I gave him a sticker, oh yeah, we go fishing now. And guess what? No, you can't. Because you can't cross the 4 lane and you can't cross the highway. You don't have a troll. So this elderly couple can't cross the road, but our fishermen have a boat can. So so I'm not supposed to let this elderly couple go fishing because it's the law, but we're gonna let everybody else do it. So.
That was the state statute that they looked into. And he was right. Fishermen are part of the farming, after all.
Yes, Joey, but like I said, you can make it more strict, you can't make it more lenient. So y'all decided nobody can cross the road. So that was y'all argument.
Because we was told that it couldn't happen. Now we got the state statute saying you can. I always said you could. There was a state statute, but I didn't know, I'm not an attorney. The attorney looked into it.
I can read you the law that says you can make it more strict.
Incidental problem, and not right on.
A big problem that we have is that before we even started talking about golf carts on the shoulders, you had a state law in place that talked about farm use operation on the shoulder. You had a state statute that talked about crossing roads where there's a golf course on each side. You had another one that talked about, you had 3 or 4 kind of piecemeal state statutes already in place. One of the chiefs talking about has a time frame on it.
the farm use one has a time frame on it. I don't know if they did the same time frame. You know. You had some different statutes in place that talked about golf course, talked about four-wheelers, some of them talked about side-by-sides, some of them talked about the shoulder, some of them talked about crossing the road, some of them talked about crossing the road for farm use, crossing the road to get from one side of a golf course to another golf course. So now we are, we passed the golf cart ordinance, for better or for worse. We passed the golf cart ordinance, and I think I can sympathize with the chief. The officers are trying to enforce it, in light of these other statutes that are out there. And I guess saying all that, not only taking the time or changing it so soon, or changing this one aspect of it, it kind of gives the police officer, gives them a moving target. They don't know what, it's like are we enforcing the statute, are we enforcing the ordinance, and it's already difficult enough. I would just caution changing it so soon. That's my only input.
And one other thing, if I could do it, with that, sign an affidavit, and you have to have a certain class driving license. Is that a E or C, what you have to have? A C? E, that's a regular license.
That's a regular license.
So that's the two things you have to have. And if you're a farmer, if you're fishing, sign that affidavit. Now, it's something to do, I don't think.
All right, I'm here recommendation.
What's the reason they gave going to turn off the road an hour and a half more than before?
Well, some people work a little later than others, and that's the only time they have to enjoy their golf cart.
I mean, look, I said from the beginning that the chief and the officers and be harder on them than anything. And I agree wholeheartedly with her, how you gonna enforce the law if it's gonna change? And then either go hard or soft, I don't know, I guess we're.
But they're always, you can ride along the shore, but you have to be a certain age, you have to have a license, you have to have insurance, you have all this criteria you have to meet, not you just go around.
I understand that.
If somebody's not meeting the criteria,
So, I mean, they have to be, they still gonna do what they wanna do.
Okay.
It started, I could see.
I'm gonna leave it alone for right now, but when the year is up, I will bring it back up. And I'm gonna fight for this person to ride this golf.
Why, just one person wants to ride?
No, there's a few.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just, Mike said it perfectly, this much, give it to them just a few more minutes.
And I'll understand that.
This much, and then you're gonna put Chief in a bad position.
Which
But
is why
Chief's
it's like
gonna try and
it is.
enforce all of that.
Which is why it got to the point that it was, because like Mike said, give them this much, y'all gave them the streets. It went to, when we want to ride here, when we want to ride here. We even had some that came and wanted to cross the 4-lane.
How many permits we gave so far?
How many? 8.
There's 70, but
We gave them 37.
37.
37.
If I could, I'd like to say something. I mean, myself, chief, we met twice in committee. It's not like we knew what to do. We had the cards dealt from the law. We kind of trying to follow the letter of the law which was given to us. I mean, when, and it was tweaked, which I get, to me personally, you can obviously see a man parked on the side of the road on his boat. That was one thing, that was an issue, you know what I mean? You had to hear it, I had to hear it, a few of us had to hear it, I would think, it was pretty obvious. Mike even said you weren't for it, it was pretty obvious from the committee meeting, Mike wasn't all for it, but at least we all met and discussed. You can't satisfy everyone. And it was talked about in the committee, trying to follow up curfew, not on the weekdays, came on the weekends, we settled on 9 o'clock. That's what happened, It's not like we experts in the field, we thought we were doing the right thing. I'm kind of only speaking to myself here, and like I said, we met twice. We thought we were doing the right thing, that's what we have discussions and public hearings for, to try to tweak it, make it good for everybody. You know, it's one of them deals, before you were illegal to ride your buggy or your golf cart. Nowadays, you follow the criteria, you somewhat legal as long as you follow the rules, you know?
But the rules keep changing, so.
Yeah, it's coming down if you do, down if you don't.
So, and it's comes down to me, and I understand that they might be complaining, y'all, but we're getting cursed out, we're getting bashed from people, we're getting the nasty comments, and it takes the cold. After a little while getting cursed out, you just get enough.
Get somebody cursing you out, you can't arrest them.
No, I can't arrest somebody for cursing me out.
He's really asking, you guys read.
I'm gonna sit there.
All right.
Can't give them a few trucks.
Gerald, are there any of them crossing the highway?
Yes. Yes.
You asked
We
me.
had a 10-year-old that was across the Divide side today.
Wow.
That's when you contain and you go to pack.
That's when you throw the golf cart.
That's fine. But when I know that's doing it, then how can I charge somebody else? If I'm not gonna charge everybody, I'm not gonna charge anybody. And that's what the council had decided to do.
It was 10 years old.
Turn your head and don't look.
If that don't have your car.
You got a 10-year-old, you need to put, it's back in your seat, bring them home.
Right,
That's my opinion, chief.
I agree.
And I called the cop to go make sure that he wasn't there, and by the time he got there, he wasn't there.
Okay, Mr. Gerald, yes, have you seen any illegal ones crossing the highway?
Illegal ones?
Yeah, like legal four-wheelers?
Yes,
You have seen some of them?
yes. But four-wheelers are included now.
How's that?
Four-wheelers are not included. If they have a boat, they can ride their four-wheeler across.
Four-wheelers have been included since, 1990-something, 1998, when the state statute was passed. So, you know, that was for foreign use. So regardless of what the town of Golden Meadow passed in an ordinance, that was already in place. I guess the town could have came and restricted that type of activity, which I haven't really, you know, the chief says she looked at the statute. I don't know offhand whether we could have done that, but the point is that was already in place. You know, that's not something.
Is a four-wheeler permitted to ride on southbound shore?
For foreign use.
On the southbound shore? Do they have to have the inspections that the other vehicles have? They don't need a sticker.
Those state statutes.
Okay, they don't need a sticker.
Correct.
Okay.
My goodness.
Yeah, I'm here just to, see, first, I want to clear my name in case, because there, like Chief said, there's been a lot of discussions, heated discussion. I got in the crosshairs of a couple of, because I was here last year making a request. When I bought the golf cart, I was told that, you know, you could ride whatever, so it was cool at the time. We did it for a couple of years, everything was fine until we found out that it wasn't legal. So I just came and I said, and I said, oh, get this thing legal for the state, and that was all good, no issue. So, my first request was midnight, because he arrived till sometime between 9:30 to 10:30, 11, give it a little slack. And then it was about, well, maybe 11, 10, and then at 9. I just want everybody to know that I'm totally cool with whatever this council decide. I just made a request. And my biggest concern is I don't want no reputation that I'm pushing something or trying to get some favors or any kind of thing, or cause any kind of harm to the town, or cause anybody to get in a dangerous situation. But just a request. Whatever's decided, I'm totally good with it. I'm just more worried about my reputation with the Lord, and I'm not trying to be, you know, I don't want nobody to say, oh, Pastor Matt is doing this and that. Listen, that's, is that, you know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate it, Connie, you know, the push, because I made that request, but listen, no hard feelings here. I don't know if I have hard feelings against me. It gets some kind of, you know, extra time that complicates stuff for everybody. None of that's ever an issue. So I'm all good. Okay, whatever y'all decide, good. All right, I'm glad you were here tonight. All right, we'll move to the next agenda. We'll be reading the question of Boreal permit. We'll upload that. Boreal will give February 7th, 2027. From the north end to the south end.
I'm gonna move that.
Moved by,
Second.
by Mike. Any questions? One time. We found a ball and Jody, that's,
Aye.
like, here. I got it. It looks a little bit too brought up, it goes to that jar.
Move.
Second.
Don't know if it's dry, that,
I'd like to be added to the agenda.
okay, like, what you like that?
The library, people remember the library. I can have an update, but, I was scheduled to go up there and meeting.
I'll make a motion. Like Jody, think about Nancy. Audience one time, audience two time, audience three time, we'll go over to Jody. Aye. Nancy.
Aye.
Mike. Aye. Here. Aye. Gerald.
Yeah, I was scheduled to go up there, not the last first meeting, but one before. And I believe you were also scheduled to go if I'm not mistaken. And, I was all prepared to make a presentation up there. And, Daniel called me. And, he had received his agenda a couple of days before for the boys. He said, Gerald, he says, will you come up? So I said, what's the problem? He says, it was pulled from the agenda. I called the council secretary, and she told me she was told to pull it from the agenda. Oh, I says, something going on. And I said, he said, don't throw away your speech, because I said, you're gonna have to give me an extension. You can only have 3 minutes. I got about 15 minutes. Oh, he said, I'll give it to you, but he says, keep it. Don't throw away yet. So, from what I understand, the bid that was open was gonna be approved at that meeting, the funds were. And from what I understand, that was full, and I don't know what the status, what's happening right now. And, I even asked Daniel, says, if you could, get the parish president to come down here and address that issue, so we could be open and everybody knows what's going on before something else takes place. And, I haven't heard anything, I don't know if you've heard anything, Joy?
Last thing I heard that they were getting an opinion from the district attorney's office to see if they could do an alternate. A change order,
Change order,
you know, to do another plan.
another plan, another bill.
Like the build side of the build.
The bill, the whole
Not like I said.
Okay, so that's what's in the works now,
Yes, sir.
the need for it, okay.
Legal for, see, we're giving the council what direction we need.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying about the parish.
Can we add, be added in the agenda for another item?
Yes, sir.
Okay, educate,
Wait,
I'm sorry.
I'm over.
It deals with the, properties that we're planning.
Did you take them?
Yeah.
I'm over.
Give them the-
That's all right, that's all right, you want to get it in.
Okay, I can go ahead and speak to the price. There was some discussion the last meeting and all, as far as pricing of these properties. From what I gather, the buildings have been moved. And they're trying to determine how to go about selling these properties, what they could do. Wouldn't a good way to do it, to be fair to anybody that's interested in it, is to get an appraiser to give a fair market value of this property as a starting point.
I mean, so we're dealing with seven pieces of property that's, that we haven't sold.
Yeah.
And I think they're all vacant, and I think they're vacant, they were not part of the condemnation
Oh, they were
proceedings.
not.
Correct. These are properties that taxes haven't been paid before either.
Oh, okay.
I think the town is able to make a profit on those properties.
I don't know the answer to that, but I don't know the answer to that. So, but we've already listed all of them at a certain minimum bid, you know, that
Which is to
didn't
remove
get.
what the.
And those did not get, so there's gotta be some kind of mechanism to be able to get these properties back in the, back in Congress, correct? So, I think that's what we're dealing with right now, trying to get a creative way to do that.
Here's a path to make it.
Correct. Okay. All right, Mr. Joe, you limited it out.
Where's Dan? Give me 3 minutes.
Good night, Joe. What's up?
No, I said I had already made a motion.
Second by Hennessy, all floor. There to be,